Welcome to Never a Dull Moment. I'm Greg Blythe, and today we have a quick tip for any of you guys who are looking at getting into carbon steel. Unlike stainless steel stains less, but carbon steel is highly reactive and it oxidizes when coming in contact with especially acid from onions, lemons, and so on. So today I'm going to show you I have two knives, both that are carbon steel. Both are made of the exact same steel, Iwagami Super, or what we refer to as super blue steel. So both of the knives come from good companies. This particular company is one of the ones I love. It is a blacksmith that I'm just such a big fan of. He's been around forever. And we're going to put some acid on the knives. We're going to just let you see what happens if you were to be cutting something and then suddenly walk away. So with most chefs, if my wife wanted to pen up, most chefs would actually keep a wet towel with water, damp. They would keep it to the side and they would have it there so that way they could actually wipe that off if they were cutting fish. They would occasionally wipe the knife if they were cutting onions, just a stroke here and there to just get that moment of oxidation kind of hindered. Then you would actually still need to clean the knife and remove the acid. Just because you wipe it down doesn't mean you've got everything. So obviously if the knife oxidizes, it's actually rusting. And if it rusts enough, it will eat away at the metal, weaken the knife, change the shape, change the knife edge, the cutting ability. So we're just letting these knives react. Again, both of them, the core steel is super blue. Typically in Japan, the blacksmith would buy the super blue steel from Hitachi Steel. They would then clad it with an outer layer that's very protective. There are some blacksmiths that actually make their own steel. And so between different treatments, between different additives, between different heat treats and stuff, you can get different kind of oxidation times. But typically you would think that the metal itself should oxidize at the same rate. So we're just letting this happen. We're not trying to speed it up. We might speed it up in the actual movie itself just to show, like, 2 times, 15 times. But again, I would normally not walk away from either one of these knives. And then once we do have some oxidation, I'll show you how to remove it. By the way, this is also a way a person would create a patina. This knife is brand new, so it doesn't have a patina. A patina would be a rust layer that would actually, in a mild way, it kind of protects the edge from rusting more. So a patina is something that people who are owning carbon steel knives do kind of get used to. We can even see on the backside of this knife, we already have a particular spot that's starting to oxidize. You can see that it's darker in discoloration. It's not just a moisture place. It's actually affecting the quality of steel. If you look on this steel, I think you can see on the core steel that it's becoming darker on the edge. So this knife only has the core steel right on the edge. So it's beginning to oxidize. I'm trying to see if I can get some of the, all of the core steel to have some acid on it. Maybe we can get a patina evenly. So one of the things you want to do, and that I had done, we had cleaned this knife for this particular thing. One of the things I'll just talk to you about this is, if you're going to have a carbon steel knife that's not in use for a while, this particular oil is Camellia oil or Tsubaki. It is available with most fine knife stores, and it is something like any oil that you can squeeze on. It is not something like an olive oil that is going to go rancid on your knife. You wouldn't want to do that. It is a natural product, so it's not like some of the petroleum-based oils. It does create a protective layer, so it does protect against any type of environmental conditionings that you have. I live near the ocean, so a lot of times we have a salt air environment. Okay, so I mean, good old onion. I'm just doing that so we can get some of that good onion acid on there. So I think if you come now, you can definitely see some brown spots on this side of the knife. I definitely see it on that side. So all of a sudden we have some reaction. I'll let that keep happening while I want to see if we get any type of reaction from this particular knife. The knife that I have in my hand is by Fuku Knives. Brent Loving is in Florida. I'll put a link to his company. Fukushima-san makes these knives in Japan. This is a beautiful knife. You don't really see the cladding, but the core steel is only on the edge. Both of these knives are protected on the outside. So again, if my wife wants to move in, we can definitely see that there's discoloration on the edge of this knife. It's just gonna, and you're only gonna notice it on the core steel, that there's an actual color change. So you do see that different knives oxidize at different rates, okay? So what we need to do is we need to be able to clean this knife. Obviously, I don't want to lose the knife. It's a beautiful knife. I will tell you a lot of times this is not my go-to knife because this particular knife does oxidize quicker than most. So we see a massive rust has built up. So the thing that caused it is going to be our solution. So we're going to actually squeeze some lemon onto the knife and we're going to use the skin. So the skin acts like sandpaper, and my wife might want to come over and see quickly. We've already gotten rid of the rust on this side. And then let's go to this side. So again, you make sure you don't have the edge sticking up in a way that you're going to cut yourself. There are other things called a rust eraser. I would definitely go with just the skin of the lemon first because the rust eraser has its own abrasive kind of sandpaper quality. And when you use a rust eraser, you'll definitely hurt the finish of your knife. You can definitely see that we have cleaned up the knife dramatically. Okay, so this towel has just got water on it. And if it does get away from us too much, then we'll squeeze some more lemon on it. Get the fresh peel. Okay, so we have some family members home. My stepson just came in. Come on in. So life goes on. We're just filming. So anyway, in this video, you got to see two different knives made out of core steel. With the core steel is super blue. My wife's going to come in real quick and show you. We did not clean. There is a mild oxidation. Obviously, it was much slower on this particular knife. Okay. So if I did need to get rid of it, again, squeeze some lemon, use that. Make sure that you don't accidentally run your finger along the edge and hurt yourself. I do want to show you what a rust eraser looks like. These will also be listed in the description. So if you do need one, you will see that. So a rust eraser, this one's already opened up. So a rust eraser, this is the fine one actually. It's a material that has like a grit. It has a little bit of flex to it. So think of it as like a composite sandpaper. Again, I could take a little bit of acid and put it on the knife, and then use this, and this will definitely make sure your knife is clean. And you can see it does an extremely good job if you let it get so far that the lemon can't help you. All right, so let's get that cleaned up for you real quick. I mean, that looks brand new now. Yep. So our first line of defense is a towel, always ready to wipe it off to get the acid available to you to not oxidize. Our next line of defense is using the acid that was put on there in the skin as a way of removing it. Our last line of defense is going to be a rust eraser. Again, these are inexpensive. You can get 2 for like $13 from Amazon. I'll put a link in the description. And I have another video on this just for the heck of it. I'll put it in the link in the description where I've done this knife before. And then if you go beyond that, there's some other much more extreme situations. Barkeeper's, is it Barkeeper's Friend? I think Barkeeper's Friend is something that's very aggressive to kind of remove that stuff. But anyway, you guys have learned a lot today. I had fun showing that to you. And you've learned a lot today about owning carbon steel knives. As always, bless you for watching the channel. God bless you. We appreciate you so much. Thank you for supporting the channel. This was definitely not a dull moment. We'll see you next week.